Okay. This is kind of weird. I'm trying to figure out how much of a delay there is. So I got my eye on the laptop. I'm just trying to figure out where. Alright, it might not be as much as I thought. Okay. Alright, so with advance, what my thoughts are on this is I like to put on 12 mil, comfortable with 10, between 10 and 12 with my paint. But with advance, it seems like if I go 7, 6 and 7, I'm a little better off. So really about half as thick as I'm used to. And then the other thing too is with advance, I'm putting this on a lot more consistent than I normally would as far as that film build. I really try to distribute this paint a little better working with it. This is looking really good. The camera's probably not getting quite the detail, but I have this on here pretty wet, and what I'm going to do is just pick it back off. There we go. I noticed with advance, if you can see here, hold on, let me see. I got to get some good light. Okay, I lay this off, and I can see there's some heavy brush mark right here that stands out. There's one right here. This whole area seems to be leveled really nice right now, but these couple here, little there, and I have a long deep one right through there. It seems like if you don't get this now with advance, you'll see it in the finish. And I think that was a problem initially when I was running some tests on it. I didn't get a good level on anything that was thick. So I think really the goal here with advance is just to pull it all tight and make sure it kind of looks pretty smooth when you want to call it done. All right, let's just do another one. A whole bunch. I got 5 of these that we could do. All right, but these samples, see, these have 2 coats on them, and they are. This is hard not to because of the delay. I don't know where I'm at. This is a pretty smooth surface. I didn't sand it with the Abernet between coats, but for not sanding it, it came out pretty decent. Okay, so we'll go a little bit more in detail here. All right, I'm going to apply this pretty equal in film, wet. I'm really just making an effort to do that. I can just kind of tell by how it looks and how it feels when I put it on. Alright, this looks pretty good. It feels right. It doesn't feel like there's anything heavy anywhere. Let me pull this. Okay, except for that. Alright, and then I'll just pull them tight. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on here, just enough. I have way too much paint on here. I think way too much for advance. Like if this was vertical, that wouldn't fly. Okay. I doubt the camera's going to pick that up. Alright, again, I have this upper curved area. It's got some brush marks. It looks pretty good, sort of right here through the center, but I see some deep marks right here. So what I want to do to try to make sure that this turns into glass is get rid of them now. Because like I said, those deep grooves just don't seem to lay out with advance. I just wonder if it has like a certain window of opportunity where you either get it or you don't, and if you miss it, it's too late. This is leveling. Right before my eyes I can see these brush marks going away. So that's looking good. That's very... Alright, this one looks really good. Very glassy. And I was kind of worried about a couple of the brush marks on it, but they all went away. Alright, let me set this one side. Let's do one more. You could just, if you had a question or something, Brad, just pop it in that chat, and I'll keep my eye on it. If you want me to try something different, I have three more of these, and I could use those Pro Classic samples, but it seems like I have some samples I could work with. All right, this is that piece that had that big chunk missing out of it. And oh, previously I had bubbles all over this stuff, and they're all gone. I don't see any of them, and I really don't know what caused it. But here's the load. You know, same as usual on the other videos. There's nothing on the other side. And I don't know if you caught it, but I made about 6 videos of Advance. I just have to kind of go through them a little bit, and then I'll probably either piece them all together or maybe upload a couple of them individually. The only thing that concerns me about using Advance is I am, by habit, I just apply paint heavy. And I think that's why I have an issue with Advance, because, I don't know, I gauge my film by how it feels. And to use it, if I have to use, you know, like half of what I'm used to, that's pretty drastic change. Not that it's bad, you know, it's strictly a user thing, but alright. This looks pretty good. Nothing's really standing out on the layoff. There's a little bit right here, but I'm just kind of watching this level right before my eyes. There's a heavy one here. This whole area is already glass, and this one's almost gone. So it's moving. I noticed watching my videos from earlier, I had the camera kind of down low on a piece, and I made one pass, and when I got here, you know how you can see the brush strokes are real visible right after you pass over something. Just within a couple seconds, I was able to see this whole area just change right before my eyes, where you can just kind of see like the paint collapse back into it, into the board. All right, this piece, just in that little bit of talking, has leveled completely to glass. So there's no question that will be, you know, there won't be any trace of a brush in that finish. All right, hang on, let me see. Oh yeah, Brad. It's so hard to work these little samples because you know, you're holding them, and they're bouncing a little bit on you. But all right, let me get this one out of the way. If I'm painting, if this was a casing, for example, let me see, is my can in this? Yeah. Hang on a minute. Hold on, Brent. I'm just kind of waiting till the footage catches up with me. All right. Jesus, put my elbow on that paint stick. All right, here is, if this was a casing, I would be painting it like, I would be loading the paint on like this. So it would be just like I would cut anything in. I would always be in this motion on the casing. You know, like say I had a cut around the wall over here, I would do that. And then over here would be like, say, your inside jamb where the caulk is. I would load that up. Okay, but then my application will be like this. But then at some point, you know, when I'm ready to finalize this area, I'm going to just turn it like I did when it was horizontal and just pull up. Just like that. One thing I've been trying to do is get videos on John and I were talking about trying to do one on a casing, just the procedure of painting a casing. But it would most likely be with the door off, just because no matter where we paint, we're pulling doors. Alright, here, let me just get this piece. I'll start up on another one. Let me just lay this off. There's some crap in that. What is that? Okay. I'm going to find more space. Alright, so alright, if this was a casing, hang on, let me get another dry piece. Alright, if we have a door casing, wall right here, inside jamb and doorstop, I would start down here, and I work this all the way, say, to the door stops here. I'll work to the pencil from here over here to the wall, all the way up to the top, over, and then back down. And then when I'm over here, I'll come through the door, and then I'll start the process on this side, which will include painting the face of the doorstop, the beveled edge of the doorstop, the rest of the jamb, and then into the casing. And again, go all the way up and down. And when I'm working, like say this is the bottom of the jamb, I'm going to work probably, I'd say at least 18 to 24 inches of this area right here, that half of the jamb and casing, in this sort of fashion, where I'm just sort of in a cut mode, so to speak. And then when I have the 24 inches wet, I'm trying to think if that's right, it's got to be at least 24. Then I'll pull it all up. And then when I get to the miter, same thing. I'll be from the miter. I would be pulling from the miter down to my last feather. So it would probably be from the miter 24 inches down. I'm not usually going all the way from the bottom of the jamb to the miter in one stroke. So I'll be normally tying those in from the top down. And then, you know, say you're on the right side leg of the jamb and you're going to the left, that's going to be roughly 36 inches. So I'll tackle that whole 36 inches wet and then lay it off and then work my way back down. But yeah, if I'm distributing paint, I'm going to be doing it like this, directly on the face of whatever it is. I don't, you know, painting these samples, I'm actually just sort of better off doing it like this. But that's by no means how I put paint down, especially on trim. It's quite the opposite. It's just, actually, it's just kind of hard to do on these little boards. Need more space.